that I wasn't there to fight for you.
And this is a national crisis. Gender-based violence in South Africa has become a huge crisis. And it's something that we've got to address now. We've been horrified by the killing of Uyinene Mrwetyana.
It was a simple errand. Uyinene Mrwetyana walked into the post office to collect her package. But that moment, she walked inside the post office and Uyinene never made it out alive. This is the story of a 19-year-old student whose only crime was going to the post office. Her name is Uyinene Mrwetyana. Welcome back to True Crime with me, Julia. On this channel, we shine a spotlight on true crime cases that have shocked South Africa. Uyinene's case broke a lot of hearts, but the story brought a bit of hope as well. She ignited a movement that will live on for years. She made us all stand still and ask, am I next? Let us get into the story.
It's not her fault, but it's his.
I know what you're all going through.
I am Nene.
Let us start by getting to know Uyinene. She was born on April 20, 2000 in East London in the Eastern Cape. Uyinene, or Nene as she was affectionately known, was full of life. Her family described her as vibrant, outspoken and confident. Her friends said she was caring, she was funny, and she loved fashion. After excelling at Kingswood College, she went on to study film and media at the University of Cape Town, one of the country's most prestigious universities. Uyinene had dreams of becoming a storyteller, but she would never get to tell her own story.
Made merry with friends and family, saw love in the stars, read books, nurtured aspirations bestowed by God, dreamed dreams of tomorrow, and believed tomorrow would come. Innocence, wandered in the garden, stepped on a stone, blew in the wind, heard God in the breeze, sang with angels from above, and was taken up to heaven.
It was Saturday, August 24th, 2019. Uyinene walked into the Clearance post office in Claremont, Cape Town to pick up a parcel she'd been waiting for. Behind the counter was 42-year-old post office employee Luyanda Botha. He told her the parcel wasn't ready and that she should come back later that day. But what Nene didn't know was that the post office closed at 1 p.m. and that Luyanda had sent his colleague home early, leaving him inside alone. When she returned that afternoon, he unlocked the doors and let her in. This would be a trap. Once the door shut, the horror began. Luyanda tried to make advances. Uyinene refused. When she resisted, he became violent. He assaulted her inside the post office, a place meant to serve the public, a place of trust. When she fought back, Luyanda strangled her, but she kept fighting. And in a fit of rage, he grabbed a 2-kilogram weight, the kind used for weighing packages, and he bludgeoned her to death. Afterwards, he hid her body inside the post office safe, covered with his jersey, and then he walked away. That night, he went out drinking, as if nothing happened. When she didn't respond to messages, her friends grew worried. It wasn't like her to go silent. Her family in East London also sensed that something was wrong. Her parents and brother flew to Cape Town to search for her. For 9 agonizing days, social media flooded with messages with the hashtag Bring Nene Home. Strangers across the country joined the search, hoping she'd be found alive. But 2 days after she disappeared, her burned remains were already lying in a shallow pit near a railway line in Khayelitsha, unidentified, alone.
It was out of character for her just to vanish.
We started like printing posters and stuff. Then I got the messages. We were like, no, Nene's passed.
The police quickly zeroed in on the post office employee Uyinene. When confronted, he confessed to everything. He admitted to luring her, assaulting her, and then killing her, all because she said no. He then returned the next day, stuffed her body in his car, and then dumped it and set it on fire.
I first interacted with the deceased on the 8th of August 2019 when she entered Claremont Post Office to inquire about a parcel she was expecting. The parcel contained clothing she had purchased online. The parcel was not available, and I told the deceased that I would contact her to tell her when the parcel was available. The parcel arrived at the post office on the 16th of August 2019. I registered the parcel on the same day. On Saturday, the 24th of August 2019, I reported for duty at Claremont Post Office in Claremont. The post office was due to close at 1 o'clock. Shortly before 1 o'clock, my colleague Suraya Abdullah went home as per an agreement between us, leaving me alone in the post office. I contacted the deceased to inform her that the parcel was available for collection. The deceased used the taxi service to travel from her residence, Roscommon University Student Accommodation in Claremont, to the Claremont Post Office. She arrived at the post office after closing time. I unlocked the front door and the deceased entered. When she entered the post office, we were alone in a locked post office. When the deceased searched her bag to pay the requisite customs fees, I started making sexual advances towards her. The deceased did not respond and looked scared. I grabbed her by the waist and forcibly pulled her closer to me. I proceeded to sexually touch the deceased against her will. I inserted my fingers into her vagina. I then inserted my penis into her vagina. The deceased fought me whilst I violated her. She managed to run to the door, but I caught up with her and knocked her to the ground. I dragged the deceased to the safe inside the post office. I locked her up inside the safe. The deceased screamed whilst inside the safe. I choked the deceased, and she fought back and kicked me. I took a 2-kilogram weight used to weigh packages received at the post office and used it to bludgeon the deceased to death. I targeted her head. I left the post office and consumed alcohol outside a nearby liquor outlet.
In November 2019, the Cape Town High Court sentenced him to 3 life terms plus 5 years, without parole for 25 years.
Mr. Botha, you have heard the submissions made by the defense on your behalf and the state. I am satisfied that the conviction and sentence agreement is in accordance with justice, and accordingly I convict you as charged. Now, as regarding to the sentence, the court convicts you as charged. As regarding the sentence, I'll read out as follows. On the count 1, life imprisonment. Yes. Life imprisonment. On count 3, for the unlawful and wrongful killing, which is the murder of Uyinene, life imprisonment. And count 4, 5 years direct imprisonment, which essentially is defeating or obstruction of the administration of justice by disposing of her body, setting it alight, and cleaning up various forensic evidence.
But no sentence could ever undo the horror. As Judge Khaid Salihlope said, Uyinene will remain a hero and an icon in the pursuit of ending gender-based violence. Uyinene's death sparked nationwide outrage. University students led marches. Women filled the streets carrying signs reading, "Am I next?" demanding justice for all the victims of gender-based violence. President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the nation, acknowledging the country was deeply traumatized. He promised reforms, harsher sentences for offenders, and a public sexual offenders list. Yet, we still wait.
And this is a national crisis. Gender-based violence in South Africa has become a huge crisis. And it's something that we've got to address now. We've been horrified by the killing of Uyinene Mrwetyana, recently a student at the University of Cape Town, who went to a post office and was brutally murdered. And what concerns me more, of course, is that it happens in a government entity and a government employee. That is a matter of real deep concern to me. But at the same time, we've had Leandre Jechels, who was also murdered. And these are acts of killings against women that we cannot accept. I've spoken extensively about this matter. And following the gender-based violence summit that we had, we are making progress on a number of fronts. But it does seem like the men of our country, South Africa, are continuing with the killing of women. The respect that I've always said that we should display towards women is just not gaining traction. Now I'm calling upon the men of South Africa to stand up one by one and declare that we've got to bring an end to this scourge of the killing of young women and women in our country. It's got to end. Gender-based violence is a scourge that is not acceptable in a democratic dispensation. We've got to increase safety for women in our country, and we've got as men to ensure that we give respect and due regard to the women of our country. And we will be doing everything we can from the criminal justice system to make sure that we increase the level of protection.
Even Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, privately visited the post office where Uyinene was killed, leaving flowers in a silent tribute. From tragedy came transformation. The Uyinene Mrwetyana Foundation was created, dedicated to fighting gender-based violence and empowering young women. At the University of Cape Town, a scholarship in her name now supports female students in the humanities department. Every year, vigils and marches are held in her honor. Her story became a rallying cry, not just in South Africa, but across the world. Uyinene's mother once said that the pain never fades, that every visit to Cape Town feels like reliving the nightmare. But she also says her daughter's spirit lives on in the fight for justice. Today, Nene's name stands for courage, change, and resilience. She is the voice of a generation that refuses to stay silent. Let's remember her not only for how she died, but for what she stood for, a future where women no longer have to ask, am I next? Thank you so much for watching. Please leave purple hearts in the comments for Uyinene Mrwetyana. Keep safe, and I will see you on the next one.